Today we're looking at grid-based layouts, a highly effective way to present information in a visually organized and responsive way. Creating responsive layouts is essential for delivering a great user experience. An application's layout should seamlessly adapt to different screen sizes and orientations. Grids are perfect for showing product catalogs, image galleries, and even data that users need to interact with. They organize content into bite-sized pieces while maintaining visual structure. Now, keep in mind, grids work best for displaying small bursts of text or images. If you're working with long lists of text, a table structure may provide a better user experience by enabling sorting and scanning. Grids should always be responsive. The layout should adjust dynamically by changing the number of columns as screen sizes vary. As you can see in this example, on a larger desktop display, the grid presents with 4 columns and larger images. As the screen size changes, the number of columns adjusts and the images shrink down to accommodate. This basic project was created using Tailwind CSS, a CSS framework which makes creating a responsive grid straightforward. By simply applying a few classes, we can define the grid structure, flow, and even how many columns should display at different breakpoints. As you can see, we specify the grid, and grid calls 2 classes to display 2 columns by default. At the small breakpoint, we're adjusting the columns to 3, and at the large breakpoint, we're adjusting the columns to 4. The gap class provides spacing between each item in the grid. By default, elements in the grid will span 1 column and 1 row. If you need to emphasize certain content, you can adjust the column span or row span classes on the elements to make them span more than 1 row or column. Here we will adjust the classes to make this item span 2 columns. Now you can see the first image in the gallery has expanded to fill 2 columns and be larger than the rest of the items. This can create a visual hierarchy and allow large elements to stand out on the page. You can also control the flow of content, whether that be horizontally or vertically. Adjusting this for different breakpoints can ensure a consistent, logical order across devices. Let's take a look at how to update the grid for that. First, we'll need to adjust the number of columns. Then specify that the grid should flow based on the rows. And then specify a number of rows. And we'll also remove our call span 2 from earlier. Now you'll see when we refresh, the grid is flowing across the row and the 12 columns. By contrast, if we update the grid to flow across the columns, you'll see now that the images flow down through the column. Incorporating grids in web design ensures that your content is not only structured, but also adaptable to any device. Grid layouts are key to delivering a smooth and responsive experience for your users. If you have an idea for a web application or need a responsive grid layout for your next project, contact us today and we can help.